Hi everyone, let's look at the EU AI Act Article 50 that went live today. Article 50 is a law and not a standard. It is a binding legal provision within the European Union regulation, not an optional technical standard. This means it's not limited to EU citizens. The EU AI Act operates on a market location principle. It means it doesn't matter where your business is physically registered. If your AI system or its output reaches, interacts with, or affects people inside the European Union, you're liable. You must comply. Article 50 specifically applies to businesses, content creators, and platforms that utilize generative AI to publish videos, deepfakes, or automated text that is both targeted at or accessible to EU viewers. Article 50.1, direct human interaction. The requirement to explicitly, meaning clearly, inform individuals when they are interacting directly with an AI system. Think customer service chatbots. Article 50.2, generative AI and synthetic media. Providers must ensure AI-generated audio, video, images, or text are marked in a machine-readable format so they can be easily detected as AI-generated or manipulated. Deployers must ensure that any published AI-generated or manipulated content is visibly labeled, marked, disclosed, or tagged as such at the time of uploading the content in order for humans to easily identify that something is AI-manipulated content. This includes social media posts but excludes basic photo editing. What is the difference between providers and deployers? Providers are entities that develop or have developed for them an AI system to place it on the market under their own name, such as Midjourney, Google/Gemini, ElevenLabs, and OpenAI. Deployers are anyone using or operating an AI system under their authority in the course of a professional activity, such as a media company or a YouTuber using AI tools to generate public content. Article 50.3, emotion recognition and biometric categorization. The requirement for deployers to disclose to individuals when they are being exposed to systems that analyze their emotions or categorize them based on biometric data. Although law enforcement is excluded and accepted, airport custom surveillance is probably an example that most of us are very familiar with. Article 50.4, deepfakes and public interest text. The requirement for the deployer of a deepfake or otherwise manipulated image, video, or audio, as well as the publishing of AI-generated text meant to inform on matters of public interest, is to prominently, clearly, disclose that the content is artificially altered or generated. Providers must program their AI tool to automatically mark any audio, image, or video output in a machine-readable format and build the software to flag itself. There is an artistic and satire exception. Deepfakes or significantly altered media that form part of an evidently artistic, creative, satirical, or fictional work do not have to have the content itself be labeled, though they must still mention the use of AI in an appropriate and easy to notice manner. In these cases, creators do not need to use potentially visually distracting labels that could ruin the art. Although the EU AI Act focuses on companies and monetized content, non-monetized creations are not off the hook. Even though excluded from these regulations, everybody is responsible for ensuring publicly published AI-generated visual and audio content is marked and that the AI was used box is checked on the social media platform it hosts as part of the hosting platform's policy and guidelines. This is important. It is also important to understand that freelancers, solopreneurs, and influencers are considered a business in the eyes of the EU AI Act. AI can do no wrong. The person that publishes an AI-generated or manipulated output is legally liable. It is never the fault of AI. AI-generated text labeling is a little less straightforward. If a text that covers a matter of public interest is AI-generated or altered and not reviewed or edited by a human, this must be mentioned in a clear and visible manner. Could this potentially change someone's life? Is the rule of thumb here. If unedited or reviewed AI-generated content could sway a vote, covers politics, civic matters, or basically anything you might find on the news that impacts human beings and the society we live in, the content must be clearly labeled by the publishing business or professional. As mentioned before, under the EU AI Act, non-professionals can post whatever they want, regardless of whether it's AI generated or even whether it hallucinated or not. However, in general, hosting platforms will still require the publisher to check the AI used box as part of their own policies and requirements, because everybody, without exception, is liable for civil lawsuits for slander, defamation, and the spreading of false rhetoric. One law does not supersede or erase the other. As you can see, there's a lot of gray area. This is because the EU AI Act does not mean to curb or stifle AI use. The goal is to achieve a base level of responsible AI use that lowers the risk of deception or bias and promotes transparency and fair use. Subscribe to find out how to get this right and improve your documentation and knowledge governance.